Hello and welcome back to the Gfinity Arena here in London for Season 3 of the V10 R League. We're about to kick off our final matchup of Round 1, and if you are just joining us, you have missed out. We've had two incredible high-octane encounters.
Pedal to the metal for the first race of the championship. James Baldwin, home track, it's a home win, and Yas Heat, a tasting glory. And it's go. It's currently Yas Heat on top spot. Here comes Jajowski now, outside line, takes P3, it's an Ori G2 and 3. Oh, contact! Wow. James Baldwin is your winner. He is one here in Tuscany. Go, 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 go. And through rally on as well. Oh, big spinala as Bono Ruiz wins here at Spa-Francorchamps.
Okay then, let's have a look at the Round 1 fixtures. The Group A match between Williams and Jean Alesi Team Suzuki has been postponed due to technical issues. But in the other Group A encounter, it was a comfortable win for Yas Heat as they beat R8G Esports 3-0. In Group B, Mercedes-AMG Petronas Esports won on their debut in the competition against Team Fordzilla, and that finished 4-0. Our final race tonight sees Team Redline face off against Oracle Red Bull Esports. What a matchup that will be. Okay then, I am joined in the studio again, and I'm glad to say they're joining me, otherwise I'd be all on my lonesome. I've got the one and only Mr. George Morgan to my left and Nick Hamilton. Gentlemen, what a start to Season 3 it's been. We saw some highlights there. Took me right back to a couple of hours ago, but have you enjoyed it so far?
Yeah, what a hell of a day we've had. Yeah, really enjoyed being back. It's a great way to kick off Season 3 of the V10 R League. But yeah, so far so good, and let's see how we can round off the evening. Yeah,
debut commentating on V10 R League. George, been all right for you?
It's been a privilege. I've really enjoyed every minute. I've got to say, the action we've had has been stupendous. I mean, we witnessed several great races throughout the entire grid order. Obviously, it's now nut-cutting time here at this point. Obviously, we're going to another couple of great tracks, but you know, it's been superb.
Yeah, and at one point in your commentary, a taste of glory. I'm yet to experience that in sim racing. But guys, let's talk about one driver that stood out for me, and that was in our first race today. That was Yas Heat with James Baldwin. I was reliably informed, moved from McLaren Shadow last year, Nick, and now with a new team, and setting down a very strong marker.
Yeah, definitely. He's Mr. Consistent, like I said last year, obviously with the McLaren Shadow. They could count on him to do a good job for the team, almost carry the team. Obviously, he's moved now to Yas Heat and done, you know, just as well as he did for McLaren Shadow, being that anchor for the team, getting the job done, a lot of consistency, a lot of pace, especially in qualifying as well. He's an all-rounder at the moment and doing a really good job.
Yeah, and when I chatted to that Mercedes driver, Mr. Jarno Otmir, he said we didn't take on James Baldwin yet, so he was quite happy about that. But for a Mercedes team, we said they had a very strong lineup, and I tell you what, they didn't half deliver, did they?
We did. Across their whole roster, they've got talent that have succeeded at so many levels already in sim racing, and getting off to the start that they did is exactly what they needed. It defines your championship, your start to the championship, and it can only feed you positives at this point.
Okay, and we're seeing some of the action. Cedric Tomei, all three drivers fantastic in the F1 Esports, and Jarno Otmir, who I already mentioned, a two-time world champ. It's going to be quite intimidating for other teams. I don't know why I'm laughing about it, but genuinely, it will be intimidating.
Because you don't have to do it.
Yeah, exactly. That is exactly why. All right, let's talk about tonight then, because again, we're talking about strong rosters, strong lineups. Talk to me about that Redline lineup and Kevin Siggy. Now, let me get this right. Season 2, he pretty much carried the rest of the team at times for BMW. They're no longer in the competition, but Kevin Siggy is the man.
He is indeed. He blows hot and cold. You know, he has some off days like all of us do. But when he is on, and he's really difficult to beat. But obviously he's got Michael Schmidl there, who's been so consistent and so strong over the couple of seasons that they've had. And don't forget Enzo Benito. Yeah, he's got a lot of experience in F1 Esports, and he's a very quick driver too.
Yeah, you may have seen me leaning over there. I was looking at Kevin Siggy's Tash. Unbelievable techers. I'm loving that. Gorgeous, I would say. Beautiful stuff. And obviously, Kevin Siggy moving over, it strengthens that lineup. But it's not going to be easy for them because they're taking on Red Bull with the likes of Parnell and Jonni Tormala, the great Finn. What do you make of their lineup?
They're a wonderful team. I mean, Red Bull are built on winning. They stick to that motto when it comes to real racing and obviously in sim racing as well. And you've got the likes of Liam Parnell, who of course featured in F1 Esports Pro Championship as well for the team. Not to mention Joni Tormela, who has been with the team since the beginning of time, really, very much ever since the very first Pro Championship. So yeah, these guys bag a lot of experience. Yuri Kazdorp as well, an endurance racer who I've had the pleasure of commentating on in the past as well, a wonderful talent. So Red Bull themselves, they've got a wonderful roster, and we'll look forward to seeing how they get on.
It's the dawn of time. Joni Tormela, it does feel like that. He's been around, which we absolutely love. Listen, as we mentioned earlier on, we are into our final race of this opening round. But for anyone who is joining us for the first time, welcome. The V10 R-League is pretty unique amongst esports racing series, so here is a quick explainer of how this tournament works. The V10 R-League is back for a third season. Here's all you need to know. 10 teams will compete for a prize pool of £100,000. Unlike other racing series, the V10 R-League is team versus team, all using the custom 900 brake horsepower V10 supercar. Each match is made up of 4 individual races, 2 relay races and 2 team races. In each match, each team will choose 1 track to veto and 1 track to race on from a possible list of 5. The tournament format sees 2 groups of 5 teams play each other across 5 weeks. 1 championship point is awarded per race win, with a maximum of 4 championship points per match. Group play then progresses into a knockout tournament, with the teams that top Group A and B progressing straight to the semi-finals. The teams finishing 2nd and 3rd then play off to decide who will join the winners at the Grand Final in Abu Dhabi at the end of July. Grand Final, Abu Dhabi. I'll tell you what, guys, I've already got the Factor 50 ready for that. It is going to be epic. What a way to end a competition heading out to the Yas Marina. That's going to be epic, surely. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the Grand Final for many a championship, including that of Formula One as well. And it's just a place steeped in magic. You know, lots can happen at Abu Dhabi. And no doubt the same can be said for the V10 R-League. Yeah, there's going to be lots of celebration. £100,000 prize pool. Maybe a shopping spree, I'm imagining.
Yeah, what would you do with £100,000?
We haven't got time. Probably I'd invest it. That's the boring answer.
Don't believe him.
Don't believe me for a second. Nick, however, though, there's that head-to-head format, which makes it a little bit different to other esports competitions. And that's what makes it really different.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can just go through the times of history of this championship, and a lot of drivers have said how different it is to everything else that they drive or compete in terms of series. So the fact that we've got relay races and team races, is a completely different format to what we're used to or what drivers are used to, especially coming in, and that just gives us, a little bit of magic, a little bit different to everyone else.
Oh, that's the first usage of magic today, and I tell you what, I love that. So, all right, we'll talk about more magic that is going to be coming up. Let's look at the unique thing as well about the V10 R-League is this picks and bans. On your screen, you will see Yas Marina has been banned. A team can ban a track that they don't have to race on, but they also can pick one that they want to race on, and that is going to be Silverstone. We're going to be heading there to begin with, and then Red Bull decided, Spa, no thank you, we will take Monza. What do you make of that, George?
Brilliant. Again, a little bit more variation, I think, from what we've already seen. Of course, Silverstone makes a return, which is great, and great to have it certainly in this calendar. But we're going to the Temple of Speed. We're off to Monza, and it's one of my personal favourites. Certainly, you've got the chicanes, the Rettifilio and the Rogier chicane. It's going to be very testy for a lot of these talents to try and negotiate their way through these parts of the circuit. Ascari as well. We've seen some incidents already in this championship. We've known to see a few at Ascari in the past as well.
Hey, I love this George Morgan. He's keeping under the wraps. He's speaking a little Italian.
He's all right.
Yeah,
he's all right.
Top guy. This is, of course, his debut, my debut in the V10 R-League, and we're so thrilled to be here. So, all right, those picks and bans. Monza, would you agree with George there? That's an exciting track to get to. We haven't seen it today.
Oh, yeah, we haven't, and it's full of heritage, isn't it? And, because of the likeliness of braking hard and potentially getting in each other's way sometimes, you're going to have a little bit of contact, but that's what it's all about. And going through Parabolica and the Ascari chicane, for example, yeah, you can't miss it. Yeah.
We haven't seen many mistakes. That's what people watching for the first time will have to sort of understand, that these guys are just machine-like.
They're robots.
They're absolute robots, the way that they do not make mistakes. So if you've got 0.5 of a second behind, you might not make it because they do not make any mistakes, do they?
No, not at all. If you look at the times as well, they're all to the mark. In fact, so fine margins, in fact, which is incredible, which makes, obviously, the grid positions ever so important because, of course, you want to be higher up the order. You don't want to be seen to be dropping back because you have to fight extra hard to try and make your way through the field. It's just standard knowledge when it comes to racing. But obviously, when it comes to these sorts of cars, 900 to 980 brake horsepower with the Power Pass system, it's obviously going to make things a little bit trickier. So we'll have to see how these guys can negotiate their way through this.
It's going to be magic. Right, we are heading to the home of British motor racing after a very quick break. Hello and welcome back to the V10 R-League with myself, Tom Deacon. I've got George Morgan to my side and Nick Hamilton. We are just moments away from getting into the relay race. And I know what you're thinking, and I know what you're saying loudly now. You're saying, Tom, what is the relay race? Well, do not panic because I've made this explainer for you. In the relay race, all three drivers in the team must complete one lap each, with drivers swapping out of the car during pit stops. One driver per team must complete an extra lap, known as the Joker lap. A Joker lap can be taken at any time during the relay race by any driver on the team. The team that completes all their laps first, including the Joker lap, is declared the winner of the relay race to take 1 point. We are aiming for that 1 point, gentlemen. And obviously that Joker lap has a serious effect in how the outcome of the race goes. What sort of things have we noticed today in terms of teams using that Joker lap?
I think they change it up throughout the race. So I think they make a plan, and then sometimes if it doesn't go right in terms of the start of the race, they might change that up and change the strategy there and then off the fly. So that's a really cool thing. From what I've also noticed is drivers that I don't think would do the Joker end up doing the Joker as well. So yeah, you know, they like to tease us a bit, but you know, it's an amazing part of the relay race, and it's you know, it's a great race for drivers to really get to grips with consistency, and they do a great job.
Okay, well there you go then. Nick, you've given us you've teased out a little bit of thing to look for in this race. George Morgan, Silverstone we head to. Looking forward to this one?
Yeah, very much so. We've got a couple of straights here, and obviously now we're about to get underway for the start of the relay race, and it's pedal to the metal, and we are away. It is go, 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 and Kevin Siggy, he's going to be off and running, but I have to tell you, Red Bull are still clipping at the heels there, as you can now see them now making their way down through towards the next right-hander, of course. Kevin Siggy in second place. Liam Parnell holding his own through the first sector out of Abbey Farm Village, the loop. Next up, it's Aintree Corner before they then head down the Wellington Straight. This race is well and truly underway. Parnell in front, Siggy in second. Away we go. Here, Nick Hamilton.
Yeah, Parnell's done a great job, hasn't he? What a fantastic start from him. Kevin Siggy's got it all to do in P2 there. Oh, super close there, side by side, coming out of Luffield. Who has got the best run? We've got the Red Bull on the outside into Copse, and on the inside, Parnell.
Absolutely, very nip and tuck, heading through Copse Corner as they now make their way through towards Maggots and Beckett. But it's Kevin Siggy there who now manages to land a blow in front, of course. Liam Parnell now looking to try and fight back. You have got the hanger straight, which you can utilise some straight line speed as well if you can get into the slipstream. And that's exactly what Parnell needs to do. But now Kevin Siggy surging away at this point as he now makes his way round Stowe Corner. Next up, you'll have Vale at turn 16, but it is the man from Redline, and he bails into the pit lane, closely followed by Parnell. No Joker in the first stint.
Yeah, that was needed, wasn't it? That was needed from Kevin Siggy. He didn't get the best of starts. Potentially Parnell could have got away, but Siggy made sure he put a stop and a halt to that. Siggy in the pits first, Parnell second, and it still seems like a 7/10 sort of gap. Sometimes in the pit stops we can see quite a big change in terms of getting down to the pit lane speed limit, and we'll see who is in next for both teams.
Yeah, certainly Kevin Siggy, part of that successful BMW team last season that would go on to win the V10R Championship. Of course, though, this is a very different set of affairs. New season, new standard. Enzo Benito gets into the car. He himself, a great pedigree, of course, beating Lucas Di Grassi at the Race of Champions back in 2019. And also a champion in Porsche Carrera Cup Esports as well. So please do expect a lot more from Enzo Benito here today. Joni Tormela as well jumping into his car, representing the Red Bull Esports team. A man who has featured in F1 Esports Pro Championship now for so long, has been there since 2017. And of course the championship was first introduced. He now lines up for Red Bull here at this point, and he is now in front heading into the first sector. So now Enzo Benito has got to be the man to catch him here, Nick.
Yeah, there's been a real big issue for Team Redline. For some reason, Benito very slow away. 9.8 seconds is the gap. Now, I don't know what has actually happened there. What a shame, because Siggy put the team in the lead on the way into the pit lane, but it looks like there might have been an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, will this mean that Benito might have to stay out to do the Joker lap in order to recoup the time that was lost, do you think?
Potentially, but still, 9 seconds is a long time to try and recoup. So Joni just going to have to take it steady and not make any mistakes. It almost looks like a formality at the moment. I don't like to put the commentator's curse on Joni or the Red Bull team, But yeah, especially at this level, you know, now 10 seconds, Enzo Benito has dropped behind Yoni Tormler. It's going to be hard for Enzo to catch up.
It certainly is. He's out in the car nonetheless, though, and he's got to put it to work. You can see him in the bottom left-hand corner of your screens, a less than impressed Enzo Benito. Obviously still focused, though, and making his way around this next right-hander at Stowe Corner. A majestic circuit here at Silverstone. Yoni Tormler setting the fastest lap, of course, a 1:34.148, as you can see it on your screen, folks. He leads the way here in lap 3 of 4, and by the looks of it as well, I think Tormler might be staying out here at this point. We'll have to wait and see. He makes his way through the next left-hander. I believe he certainly is, Nick.
Yeah, he is actually. This is the Joker lap for Yoni. This will be his second lap of his stint, and definitely the best route for him to take that Joker lap. There's no point coming in. Looks like he's got quite a big gap, and now it's actually up to 10.5 seconds. So Yoni, even though he potentially has sort of been gifted a bit of breathing space, he's got a lot of pace that goes with it. He would have actually pulled away from Enzo Benito if he was behind.
Yeah, and Red Bull would have analysed the pace in Tormler's car and obviously feel that leaving him out there is the right thing to do. So there you have it, folks. It's adding fuel to the fire at this point for Yoni Tormler. Wants to try and pull the gap between him and Benito even further. That mistake in the pit stop, so costly at this point. And Enzo Benito, who also is utilising his Joker lap, he is going to be absolutely seething, of course. This hasn't gone the way that Redline would have wanted at all, Nick.
No, not at all. They definitely looked like the stronger team on paper going into this race, but that's what we like about the V10R League, because situations like this, where you can have mistakes in the pit lane, that can really change the face of a race. And Red Bull, they've got to make sure they maximise every single point out of this to get off the mark and take this point from the relay race.
Yeah, absolutely. Redline obviously suffering that costly error in the driver's switch-up. Of course, now Benito into the pit, and he's going to be making a change. Of course, Tormler, who has made a very successful 2-lap stint, he's now going to be handing over to Yuri Kasdorp, who is coming in from several races in endurance cars, GT3s, LMPs, you name it, this man has done it. Of course, now sitting in a single-seater, he's going to be making his way out onto the track. Joined Red Bull Esports back in 2021 last year, and is very experienced and versatile. But the question is, can he keep back the force of Michael Schmiedel at this point? But remember, there is a difference heading into this pit lane at this point. Oh, interesting, a mistake there from Yuri Kasdorp leaving the pit lane, and a mistake from Michael Schmiedel jumping a bit quick there, Nick Hamilton.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you see this where the drivers come out onto the pit road. I sound American then. They come out to the pit road before they leave. But Schmiedel, with it all to do, he's got so much pace, has this guy. And they've actually gained 2 seconds in that pit stop. And you'll see Schmiedel trying his best to get closer and closer to Kasdorp. But has he got quite a lot to do. But Schmiedel is definitely one of the fastest people I've seen in the V10R League, and yeah, it's great to see him back for another year.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, a winner in season 1 with Team Redline, of course, when they took the championship that year. So Team Redline made up of a team of champions in the V10R League. Of course, it was Michael Schmiedel who won in season 1. Then, of course, they've also got Kevin Siggy, who won it with BMW last season as well. But they'll be hurting after this escapade here at Silverstone. No doubt they'll be looking to try and bring it all back when we head into the team race. But no doubt as to who's in front. You've got to give credit to Schmiedel. He's brought that time right back in. So that is a declaration of his pace, that's for sure. But Yuri Kasdorp, who was certainly led from the front. Oh, big moment there from Michael Schmiedel. But no, nothing takes away the performance of Yuri Kasdorp and Red Bull. They win here, the relay race. Race 1 here at Silverstone. And that is how you do it.
That is indeed how you do it, making sure you take advantage of any mistakes your opposition give you, and fair play to Red Bull there. You see Yoni Tormler, Liam Parnell and Yuri Kasdorp doing a magnificent job there, giving themselves the first match point out of a possible 4, our last race of Season 3 in our opening round. Well, when you look at the analysis of that race, gentlemen, I mean, it really did start very well. It was really close between Kevin Siggy and Liam Parnell. It was a back and forth. Kevin Siggy got the better of his counterpart, and then all of a sudden, the mistake happened in the pit, and it changed the whole course of the match.
Yeah, it did, and this is exactly what happens in the V10R League. It was great to see Liam Parnell get his elbows out. Kevin Siggy showing his talent there and his fight to retake the lead. But yeah, I mean, in the V10R League, we got these pit stops. They can really make a difference, and make a difference it did, 100% for Redline. Enzo Benito was the driver, unfortunately, that was in the car at the time. And they lost, 9 seconds, and they couldn't recuperate it back. And they even put Michael Schmidl in the car, who had a lot of pace, but made a mistake at the end.
Yeah, an incredible amount of pace. And I feel like it was the commentator's curse, because you bigged up Enzo Benito, didn't you? Should we discuss that after a break? Because I feel like, George, you need to just rein it in on those plaudits a little bit. We will chat about that in just a second. So there you have it, first point to Red Bull. Next up, it is the team race around Silverstone. Alrighty, welcome back to this V10 R-League match between Team Redline and Red Bull. Yes, I was putting on a slight American accent because Nick Hamilton did it during our live race. There might be more of that to come. Let's have a quick look at the provisional standings as it stands right now before some more adjudication. There you can see Red Bull, your winners in that relay race against Team Redline. We knew it was going to be a feisty contest and it definitely delivered. That error from Enzo Benito in the pit lane, it was unlike him, a costly mistake, but as it stands, Red Bull getting that 1 point into this. We head now to the team race. For those that haven't watched any of the action today, George, what do these guys need to do right now?
Well, you need to be brave, bold, calculated, smooth, but more importantly, you have to be up for the fight. And that's exactly what these guys are going to need to do, certainly around Silverstone. Plenty of straights, lots of overtaking opportunities. I think at the very start, we're going to be seeing some very tight wheel-to-wheel action between these two teams. I would say not far off equally matched, I would say, at this point. So,
yeah.
You know, lots of opportunities on the table.
Okay, and what would be going through Enzo Benito's head right now? I mean, talking from your driving experience, Nick, I mean, you have a moment where you've made a mistake and you think, I'm just going to have to send it, I'm going to have to prove the doubters wrong, and then you might make another mistake. So how do you stay composed?
Yeah, you just have to put it to the back of your mind. I mean, you can't do anything about the past. You can only do things about do something about the future. So, you know, trying to overcome that mentally is quite difficult if Enzo wants to put the blame on himself. But at the end of the day, it's a team sport. You win and you lose together, and so I think his teammates are going to be behind him, and it's all about this team race now, where I'm sure Enzo will definitely, you know, do what he needs to do to support his team. Okay,
now a lot of people might have been watching, thinking, hang on a minute, 2 Red Bull cars, what's going on here? I'm not understanding.
I was confused.
Yeah, I was a bit confused, and I was like, no, but I worked out. George, what's going on here? Can you shed some light on this?
Well, obviously Max Verstappen, we all know, is a driver for Red Bull in Formula One.
Heard of him?
Yeah, of course. I think you might have heard of him. Nick, have you heard of him? But yeah, no, he's obviously one of the men in charge with Team Redline, and has been part of their flourishment in the world of sim racing. And as you can imagine, obviously a little bit of Red Bull branding you would have seen on the side of that car too. But nevertheless, these drivers are going to be looking to do their most for their team. Enzo Benito has been with Redline for such a long time, as well as Michael Schmiedel, of course, Kevin Siggy as well. So, you know, there's going to be a serious fight. It's actually quite an interesting battle we've got in prospect. And
I'm sure it'd be a mental battle for Max if he was here to decide, who do I want to win out of these two teams? I own this, but I also race for Red Bull. But he's not here, which I'm glad about for the harmony in this studio. But Nick, here's my question. Here's my question to you. What do Team Redline need to do to get back into this? It's a different format. It's a different race now. 6 of the drivers on the track at the same time, and it's all about just getting your drivers across and getting the most amount of points to secure that 1 point.
Yeah, they're going to need to get their elbows out now and make sure they don't make any mistakes. They've got to try and get as many points out of this matchup as possible. Obviously, we go to another track after this. But look, this is where they need to show that they are, you know, potential championship winners for this year. And they've got a lot of experience. They've been in the V10 R-League now for now their 3rd season, so they know what they're doing. So yeah, let's wait and see. I'm really excited.
Yeah, let's not get in their head any more than we have to. 6 laps in this, a very short race. It all comes down to that grid position, or as we've seen today, it's made not much that of a difference because cars have been overtaking one another. But wowzers, look at that straight away. Team Redline, I mean, to be fair, I believe they did choose this track, and they've got a 1, 2, 3. The pressure's on Red Bull to try and overtake them.
Yeah, and this is exactly what Redline need. They need to take advantage at this point of this situation. Obviously, coming off the back of a less than ideal relay race, they need to capitalise in the team race.
Yeah, an old F1 scoring system. If you finish first, you get 10 points. If you finish second, you'll get 6 points. Then it's 4, 3, 2, 1 for the remaining 4 drivers. And as a team, whoever scores the most amount of points gets the match point. I think I've explained that in the most simplest way.
You've done well.
Oh, thank you. Did you just compliment me? Nick, did you just compliment me?
How many shows have you done? It's almost like you've done
loads. There's been 2 more earlier today. There could have been 3, but technical difficulties. Here's the thing. All right, so we're going to get into this then. It is the 2nd race in Silverstone. George, it's all over to you.
Thank you, Tom. Yes, lights now starting to go red here at Silverstone for the team race. All 6 lights are lit.
And it's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go. And indeed, still Redline owning their spot right now. But what about that jump from Yoni Tormala? Straight away to
wow.
Incident straight away. Caught from the rear, Yoni Tormala. And by the looks of it, Enzo Benito caught up in all the carnage as well. But Kevin Siggy, he's leading. Yoni Tormala not happy at all. Right there right in the back, trying to get himself reversed to the circuit. Back on track as well. But Kevin Siggy is leading the way. Michael Schmidl in second place, Yuri Kazdorp in third. It's a Redline 1-2 right now, Nick.
Yeah, well, that really caught me by surprise. I could do with seeing a replay if that was ever possible. But yeah, what a shame for Yoni Tormala there. And I do get my wish of a replay. Do I? Do I? Yes, I do. So this is Yoni Tormala going down the outside and he catches the curb. Does he? Or is he hit from Enzo Benito? We may have to see it from his point of view in terms of Benito's point of view. What a shame for both of them. But as we see now, Kevin Siggy, 4/10 the gap between himself and Michael Schmidl, doing a good job there. Both drivers know everything they need to know about the V10 R-League. This is the new boy, Yuri Kazdorf, doing a good job there as well in P3.
Yeah, it certainly is. And as I said before, joined Red Bull Esports back in 2021. Last year, certainly a mean competitor as well. We've seen him in endurance racing, GT3 as I alluded to previously. Here in single-seaters though, for the V10 R-League, these sensational V10 engines that are now electrifying Silverstone. You can there see Kevin Siggy taking them through the first sector with Michael Schmidl in second place, just under half a second between the pair. Yuri Kazdorp now also just over another half a second in behind those, with Liam Parnell still within the second gap. Of course, Liam Parnell generally someone we see taking part on the F1 game. So here, trying to verse himself here with the Assetto Corsa. He's not doing a bad job at the moment, Nick.
He isn't at all. He looks like he's really fitting in quite well. Seems very, very comfortable. Michael Schmidl, as I said, arguably one of the fastest drivers within the V10 R-League, and Kazdorf is right there with him. It looks like Siggy is definitely leading the way here, and both drivers up front for Redline are pretty comfortable. And Liam Parnell there in fourth, Enzo Benito down in fifth, and unfortunate for Yoni Tormala in sixth. But so far, it's just Linus Stern trying to stay as consistent as possible as we head into Stowe. And Michael Schmidl doing a good job, making sure he provides the support that his teammate Kevin Siggy needs.
And that's exactly what he's doing, Nick Hamilton. You've raised the pertinent point there. Michael Schmidl, his role in this current affair is to keep Yuri Kazdorp and Liam Parnell in behind. Points on the table here for Team Redline, and they don't want to lose them. We're now at the halfway point of this team race here at Silverstone. The next 3 laps are going to be key. Kevin Siggy on top, Michael Schmidl in second, Yuri Kazdorp in behind those in third place, but he is currently sat nearly a second away from Michael Schmidl, so really needs to start pulling in the lap times, as now Liam Parnell is starting to drop off slightly as well. So maybe this is Team Redline turning the screw at this point as well, because Kevin Siggy, known sim racing competitor, certainly in single-seaters, will certainly be used to this style of racing. As I said before, part of the championship winning team at BMW last season, and showing those credentials right now as we get a lovely little bit of footage of the onboard here of Yuri Kazdorp's car. We'll get to see the wheel play that's involved here at this point as he now winds his way through Copse Corner, takes a lot of the curbs on the exit, and he will send it here and basically barely lift off heading into Maggots and Beckett. So you can see him pretty much just lifting the car off. He'll then downshift a few times now just to gain the speed and the traction, heading out in towards the Hangar Straight as now he makes his way down there. Now he's got Stowe coming up next. It's still, at this moment in time, nearly 9/10 of a second the gap between him and Michael Schmidl. I tell you what, he needs to get moving here, Nick. Time's running out.
Yeah, it just shows how much these guys are pushing. They are on the limit. The amount of speed that they're carrying through these corners, especially, I was going to say turn 1. Copse isn't turn 1 anymore. We're heading into turn 1 on there. This is the new Hamilton Straight, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right? Is that right? I'm pretty sure. But yeah, these guys are doing a great job, and Kazdorp is very super consistent. No mistakes from him, which is great because obviously this is his debut first race.
It certainly is, and we're now watching Yuri Kazdorp now make his way down this next straight, the Wellington Straight. And next up, he'll be tackling Brooklands, of course, at turn 6. And this one, again, a very dogged left-hander. You need to position the car in the right place. You tend to find a lot of moves being made around Luffield. And we've seen it before. We saw it in our relay event where they went wheel-to-wheel previously. As now we're watching them make their way through this next right-hander, down through this next straight leading towards Copse Corner, past the old paddock, and then through this next right, and then into Maggots and Beckett's. These sensational series of snaky curbs here as they come through the next right, left, turns 10, 11, 12, and 13, 14 out of Chapel, and then down this long straight at the hangar. And Kevin Siggy, following on from last year's exploits, now still leads the way, and he's brought the gap between him and Michael Schmidl out to 1.4 seconds now, with Yuri Kazdorp sitting on a second gap in behind as well.
Yeah, this is pretty much perfect. It's exactly what Team Redline need. Obviously, they pretty much dropped that point, I would say, for the relay race. They dropped the ball. They'll be upset with themselves after that, but they've done well to regroup and re-attack, reassess, and now they are 1-2 in this team race. Kevin Siggy looking super comfortable out front, and Michael Schmidl doing a great job just supporting him there, making sure that Kazdorp and Liam Parnell do not make inroads into their lead. But this is what it's all about. The V10 R-League is all about teamwork, and Siggy and Schmidl are making a perfect job of that.
Teamwork makes the dream work, and that's exactly what Kevin Siggy and Michael Schmidl are doing right now, protecting those top 2 places from Yuri Kazdorp, who has now jumped in within that second gap now. He's nearly sitting at 9/10, so he is starting to push a little bit. He does need to, because we've got 2 laps of racing. We're into the penultimate lap at this point. Before then, we have the final lap next up. And there's Michael Schmidl, who we're currently riding on board with, coming through the famed Maggots and Beckett's corner, and then through the next Chapel curve. There you can see him sat in his seat and well immersed into what is going on as well. Of course, a lot of concentration is required through Maggots and Beckett's. Very easy to make a mistake. But I have to say the drivers have adapted to these conditions extremely well indeed. Heading down now towards the final few bends here on lap 5 of 6. Kevin Siggy still out in front, and he's managed to plunge yet more time upon Michael Schmidl. It's gone beyond 2 seconds now. We're on the final lap, Nick Hamilton. Is it going to Team Redline at this point?
I would be very surprised if it didn't. I was just watching Schmidl and seeing how committed he was on that lap, and then just looked at Kevin Siggy's lap time, and it's incredible the amount of pace that Siggy actually has. 2.1 seconds now is the gap, and Siggy's showing that we already knew that he had a lot of pace. Kazdorp is actually making inroads into Schmidl as we go into Brooklands for the final time. Now, is Kazdorp close enough to mount an attack as we head down the old pit straight into Copse?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming through the next right now. And Yuri Kazdorp, who is now in 3rd place, has reeled the time right into Michael Schmidl, heading through Copse Corner now. And he will let fly, lifting off slightly as he now makes his way through this next right. He's got the Maggots and Beckett's bends coming up next as he now weaves through the left hand of the right. 11, 12, 13, 14. Chapel Curve is up next. The Hangar Straight, can he unleash the beast at this point as they make their way under the banner now, leading through the Hangar Straight, leading round towards Stowe Corner. We're coming into the final moments of this team race here at Silverstone. It's still Kevin Siggy on top by 3 seconds at that, with Michael Schmidl in 2nd place as they round the last few corners. Kevin Siggy, he's going to be jiggy with it as he makes his way through this next right-hander. He takes the checkered flag. Kevin Siggy seals the deal for Team Redline. An amazing effort. Redline, they're on top.
No, I can't believe you just did that, George.
Getting jiggy with Siggy.
I think I heard you, as everyone else did. Love it, though. What a race from Kevin Siggy, Enzo Benito, and the Redline team with Michael Schmidl. I don't know about you, but I loved being on board with Yuri Kazdorp. They're trying to chase down in front of him Michael Schmidl, and it was just epic. The commitment of Maggots and Beckett's to try and get some closure on Michael Schmidl, but just didn't happen. Brilliant race, loved it. That was the team race in Silverstone. As you can see, that's where it all went wrong for Joni Tormala and Enzo Benito. And like I said when we went into that, we're trying to work out here, it wasn't hitting the curbs. I think there was a contact from behind. That was what it appears to me there. What did you take from that, Nick?
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see actually from Enzo Benito's point of view whether he actually clipped Joni. Joni looked like he was pretty much out there on his own. So it was a shame. I thought it potentially could have been a lack of traction on the curb there. But yeah, what a shame for Joni. But an amazing job from Siggy, and it's 1-1.
Yeah, stewards, I don't know why I'm pointing. They're behind. They're looking into that. But there was contact made. But it won't affect the outcome of the race because Team Redline, with Kevin Siggy, over 2 seconds separation from second place Michael Smiddle, means that they get that match point. So 1 apiece, and I'll tell you what, Team Redline definitely needed that to get back into this.
Perfect recovery, and that's exactly what they needed. I mean, of course, they had all 3 cars at the top end when they left at the start of the race. Obviously, issues occurred heading around turn 1, but, you know, that's what happens in racing. We generally see these battles happen heading through turn 1. But no, I have to say, a wonderful effort. Kevin Siggy will be delighted. The perfect response after a difficult relay. It tees up a fascinating away encounter. Yeah,
but you say that because Kevin Siggy, it's a team race. He did brilliantly in the relay race and then did brilliantly again. And likes of Joni Tormala, you know, it was looking like a fantastic moment for him to get through and really dent that Team Redline 1 to 3, but it just didn't work out.
Yeah, I think he's got a lot of pace, Joni. Actually, we see him after his accident, unfortunate accident. You know, he was making inroads into Enzo Benito at quite a rapid pace. So I think Joni's got a lot of pace. Just a shame. I don't think he made a mistake. It's just one of those racing incidents. As I said, I'd like to see from Enzo Benito's point of view. But otherwise, if he would have pulled it off, you know, that would have been a perfect start for him, and he could have definitely challenged Siggy for the race win.
We will get into this a little bit more, but before that, we need to take a break before we head to the Temple of Speed and pay our respects. We'll see you after the break. Welcome back then to the V10 R League. This is season 3, and we knew our last matchup of the day, Team Redline taking on Red Bull, we knew it'd be good, but did we know it would be this good? A few mistakes for Team Redline in that relay race meant that they were 1-0 down, but going in to that team race, a few more mistakes and then regrouping has meant that it is now 1-1 between these two teams. And these are your provisional results for that team race, and that early collision between Yoni Tormala and Enzo Benito could have been very different if that hadn't happened. But that, as George Morgan said, is what racing is all about. So 18 points for Team Redline and 8 for Red Bull means that they, Team Redline, get that 1 match point. So it's 1 apiece now, gentlemen, as we get on a plane and head over to Monza, the Temple of Speed. And as we see here, this is Red Bull's pick. So they got rid of Spa and said, no, Monza's for us. What do we need to know about this race then? If I corpse, you're corpse.
That's fine. It's fine. What do we need to know? We need to know that it's full of history. Full of history, isn't it? Monza, what a fantastic circuit. It's got pretty much everything. High speed, slow speed, medium speed corners. It's all about that straight line speed, but also it's also about how much downforce some cars have, you know, through the hairpins and slow speed corners. So you might see a bit of deviation in terms of top speed, but that's what we like to see. We like to see a little bit of difference.
Yeah, and in terms of commentating on Monza, one of your favourites?
One of them, yeah, for sure.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
All right.
There's loads, Tom. Come on, we've got a huge calendar here. But yeah, no, Monza is brilliant. Temple of Speed, as I said, you know, and it's not a place to say your prayers, but at the same time, it's a place to send your car. Certainly, lots of opportunities. Rettivillo chicane, Roger chicane, Ascari, of course, as well. But Parabolica could be key because you've got that main home straight as well. If you get a good exit out of the Parabolica, it can provide you with a bucket load of opportunities. So we'll certainly have to see whether those drivers can execute it.
Okay, I'm hearing in my ear there's a short delay while we get the drivers all ready and in place to head to Monza. Now, as we've mentioned before at the top of the show, that these cars are custom built for this esports series. But let's have a look at just how and why they were built.
The V10R League really deserved a top quality car, something unique, something distinctive.
He came to me with a brief outline of what they wanted. Something ballsy, aggressive, but stylish.
Something that was conceptually exciting, that was different. It's been great working with my father, who has the experience that he has.
I went to uni, studied automotive engineering, managed to snag a job at McLaren. The final car that I worked on was the car that Fittipaldi used when he won the World Championship in '74. So that was my claim to fame.
The virtual world gives us a lot of freedom and a lot of flexibility that we don't see in the real world. So we were able to think a little bit more outside the box about what we would love to see and what we would love to hear.
I went to see V10s racing and the noise was amazing, but the most remarkable part, there was this subsonic air vibration that actually got you in the stomach. It was just insane. Obviously that's been lost in modern racing, so the idea was that because it's virtual anyway, what the hell, might as well have a bit of fun with it. You end up with something that sounds thrilling.
It's an incredibly fast car that the drivers will have to get to grips with. We're definitely going to see some learning on the track.
When I saw what the modelers had done to actually realise the drawings that I came up with, I was blown away.
How cool is that? Mr. Masters, to the hell with it. I'm going to create this incredible car that sounds thrilling. And I tell you what, I have noticed that from obviously hosting the F1 Esports series, the engine just sounds incredible on this. And it has made for brilliant viewing, hasn't it, George?
It has, yeah, brilliant viewing. And it's amazing that, you know, even though the real world of motorsport grows and grows and grows and changes and goes through developments, so does sim racing. And we just saw a perfect example there of how this brilliant car was put together. For me, it brought back a lot of memories, listening to the screaming wails of the V10 engine. Wonderful, to say the least, and great that we can have it in the V10 League.
All right, well, there you go then. We're going to head to Monza right now then. Who's going to take this one then, Nick? You haven't got time to answer. George, it's over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Tom. Here we go, folks. All 6 lights are about to be lit here at the Temple of Speed. And once again, it's pedal to the metal, and it's go, 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 go. Liam Parnell in second place, looking to get the jump on his competitor. Certainly in first place, certainly Team Redline looking to come into this one with a positive response here as they now make their way through the first chicane. Out now of the first Rettifilio, as now make their way around the Curva Grande. It's Enzo Benito, who's now looking to try and stamp his authority here at Monza. It's a good orderly start here, Nick.
Yeah, what a great start to the race for Benito. He placed his car perfectly into turn 1. Parnell tried to go down the outside, but the door was slammed shut firmly in his face as we now go through Lesmo 1 into Lesmo 2. And this is going to be a really, really close contested race. It's going to be interesting to see what we do in terms of strategy, what the teams want to do, who they're going to use for their joker. But it's all about that slipstream as well and how they're going to use that push to pass.
Yeah, V10 cars, certainly these single-seaters, very well versed to Monza. Of course, we see these kinds of cars race at Monza right around the calendar year. It's wonderful to see as well, and nothing's different here at V10R, certainly when it comes to that kind of racing, as we're seeing Liam Parnell urging closer around the Parabolica. Now, very important, if you get a good exit out of this point, you may want to utilise the push to pass. They're both staying, well, not staying out, they're both going in. So we're going to be seeing some driver changes after this first initial stint. So Enzo Benito, in he comes, just rolling the car down the pit lane. So no use to the joker lap just yet, Nick. We're stepping intensively into the water at this point.
Yeah, I've got a feeling that Siggy will be the joker for Team Redline. Parnell did a good job there, trying to minimise the deficit between both drivers, and Enzo Benito will be happy with his work on his first stint. We'll see who jumps in now. This is Kevin Siggy in for Redline and Joni Tormala in for Red Bull. Now, I'd probably say that both these drivers are going to be the jokers for their teams. We'll wait and see. But it's going to be a close one as we head out of the pit lane. Let's wait and see who moves first. And that moving first is Kevin Siggy. He still has to wait until he's allowed to leave the pit lane. And Joni hasn't decided to move into pit road just yet. Let's wait and see as the revs build. Joni now moves. And it's a pretty close gap. Not going to be easy for Siggy. 6/10.
Yeah, absolutely. 6/10 is all there is, folks, as now they make their way into the Rettifilio chicane here at Monza. Heading out of it now to turns 1 and 2. Kevin Siggy leads and holds a 6/10 of a second advantage, as we said, after leaving the pit lane, rounding the Curva Grande. And of course, Joni Tormala will know all about this place too. Raced it many times in the F1 Esports Pro Championship, as will Kevin Siggy. Of course, he raced in single-seaters before in various other championships, so you certainly know what Monza is. A lot of drivers do. If you know your single-seaters, you know Monza. Now they're around the next right-hander, heading through Lesmo, 1 and 2. And Kevin Siggy still with the advantage. He's managed to spring it out by around 0.2 of a second, though you can now see Joni Tormala trying to reel that time gap right back inwards, of course. And certainly Joni Tormala, who, as I said before, raced in single-seater, certainly the F1 Esports Pro Championship since 2017. Kevin Siggy himself, a very, very experienced sim racer across many different platforms. And so it's going to be a very fascinating encounter to see these two come together. The furiously fast Finn in second is going to be looking to try and reel in that time gap. It's sprung out to nearly 9/10 now, but coming straight back in on the outset of the Parabolica. And this is what Tormala needs to do. Try and make the most of the exits, utilise the power pass, and it looks like they're heading out on the joker laps as well.
Yes, exactly how I predicted, is that both of these drivers are going to be the jokers for their respective teams. And 6/10 is the gap. Tormala actually made a mistake into this chicane that we're planning, that we're heading towards. He just missed the apex, and it cost him about 1/10.5 to 2/10. That's why it was 8/10 for most of the lap. Let's see if Joni can get a good exit, which he does indeed. So it's only 6/10. It could literally be anyone's race here, as we still have one more stint to go.
Yeah, we certainly do. One more driver change, and it will be made on this lap, of course. They're making their way down the straight, and Tormala has managed to rein in the delta very, very well indeed, coming into the 5/10 mark, but it's currently sitting at that point. Ascari, of course, would be a bit of a difference maker. Of course, it's the threshold for danger is never far away, of course, as you can now see them make their way down this long straight. And this will then take them towards the famed Parabolica at turn 11. And you can see them there, just braking at the 50 board there, so leaving it right to the last minute. Of course, the response in these cars is sensational, I have to say. 900 brake horsepower, 980 if you can apply the power pass as they come into the pit lane. Kevin Siggy, and that gap, it is literally minimal, isn't it? They have not been separated at all.
No, that was a really, really good stint from both drivers. Tormala, I'd say, struggled a little bit more on his initial first lap. But then he sort of got into a rhythm and started to make inroads into Siggy, and now only like 4.5 tenths between both of them. So what a hell of a last lap we have got in store. This now makes the driver changeover so important for both teams. They can't make a mistake. If they make a mistake, they could give up or potentially lose a race. Now we've got Michael Schmidl in the car, Yuri Kasdorf for Red Bull. And let's wait and see. It potentially could be Red Bull coming out second with Kasdorf with it all to do.
Yeah, Michael Schmidl, of course, part of the team that would go on to win the 24-hour of Le Mans Virtual. And, of course, Yuri Kasdorf, he himself will be looking to try and unseat him as well. He'll know all about those kinds of events, so I'm sure he'd like to have a piece of Michael Schmidl here at this point, here for the last stint, as they now make their way out on the final lap. And it is Schmidl who leads him out, with Kasdorf in second place, as now they make their way down towards the Rettifilio chicane. The first sector can certainly set precedent here for the final lap as they make their way through. Schmidl, that gap has jumped above a second out of the pit lane, Nick. Now that could be key heading into this final part of the race.
Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I thought because Schmidl decided to drive into the pit road, into pit lane, I didn't really understand why Kasdorf didn't do that. Maybe he wasn't allowed to. I'm not quite sure, but potentially that could have helped him gain a little bit more time on Kasdorf. So it's gone from a 4.5 tenths gap to now just over a second, now down to 9 tenths. But it's probably too late. I don't like to sound like that, Mr. Pessimist, but Michael Schmidl has got to do something drastically wrong as we head into Ascari for the last time for Kasdorf to potentially take the win.
Yeah, heading out the Ascari now, and they've got one more corner to take. It is the Parabolica, and it looks like it could be writing on the wall here at this moment in time. Redline returning yet again on track with yet another positive result as Michael Schmidl puts the groove in certainly to this car as he now crosses the line, and he will win here at Monza and takes yet another victory. Redline will certainly be proud of that one.
Fantastic relay race then from Team Redline, and like Nick says, I'm unsure what Kasdorf was doing there, and I'm sure we will find out the technicalities of why he didn't enter into the pit lane like Schmidl had done. But as you see, the Team Redline, Enzo Benito kick-starting things there, then Kevin Siggy taking over with the Joker Lab, and then Michael Schmidl sending it home. So congratulations to Team Redline, getting that match point over Red Bull. So, highlights from that race, and it was a great start from Liam Parnell taking on Enzo Benito, and I feel like Enzo Benito had something to prove in that one, and he did just that, George.
He did. He's had a pretty tricky start to the championship, so it was very important, I think, at this point for him to recover in a positive fashion. And he did. He did exactly what was asked of him. Currently sat in a position which garnered his team a positive result. But it was up to Michael Schmidl to pull off the goods, take the car to the end. Of course, it is a team race, but the team did well.
Okay, well, listen, Nick, I'll get your thoughts on that after we have a cheeky little break. I don't know why it's a cheeky break. It's kind of like a pit stop. Go and do what you need to do and then come back for the next race. I feel like I'm on the news. Welcome back to the V10 League. Here we go then, our last race of the first round of Season 3. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm sure you guys have as well. Am I right in thinking that, Nick?
Yes.
Good. George as well. George, this is the... No, you come on, don't kid with me. So Monza, last race that we have today, and this is the team race. And it's also playful because it's currently 2-1 to Team Redline.
It is, but like I said before, Monza, anything can happen. These chicanes are so treacherous, and if we're putting all 6 cars in a situation where they're going to be fighting wheel to wheel, it's very tricky to fit a few cars in a chicane such as these. So we could see some dive bombs, you could see a few drivers chancing their luck, but we'll have to wait and see.
Oh, that's how you spell adjudication. I keep spelling it wrong all the time. There it is. So these are the results, provisional for the adjudication pending, and that just reminds you that the last race we just saw from Team Redline, they take it 2-1. So here you have it then. This was picked by Red Bull that we would be racing in Monza in the picks and bans. That's something that's very unique to the V10 League. They said no to Spa, but they said yes to Monza, and it seems to not be paying off so far, Nick.
No, it's not necessarily paying off in terms of results, but they're really in the mix. You know, they only just lost that team at that relay race by like 0.7 of a second. So yeah. It's really, really close. If we're going to get a few issues in turn 1, it could go either way.
Yeah, and how do you sort of avoid that as a driver? Because Joni Tourmalet was like, I'm going to send it, going to break into this 1, 2, and 3 of Team Redline, and then it all went wrong. And that wasn't anything necessarily that he did wrong there. So how do you as a driver approach this team race?
Well, the first thing is you can't plan. You can't plan anything when it comes to racing. At the start of a race, you don't know where people are going to go, where you're going to position your car. It's all off instinct, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But you really just have to go off of your own instinct, really, and just follow your gut.
Yeah.
And see whether there's space.
Yeah, trust yourself. Well, Siggy has been incredible so far, as you will have seen. Benito in second, and then you get to the Team Redline, and then right at the back in 6th place, you have another Red Bull driver. George, how do you see this one going?
Well, I mean, if Redline are following on from the form they've been in for the last 2 races, I think you'd be a fool not to, chance them at being the favourites in this encounter. But I think at the same time, like I said, anything can happen at Monza. But Kevin Siggy certainly proving that he is the sensation that he is. I think, of course, he is tremendous when it comes to single-seaters. But don't write off the likes of Liam Parnell and the others who are in the fight. Of course, Joni Tourmalet, very experienced. They will know Monza. So they're going to utilise their knowledge, I'm sure. And
with the V10 League, this is a real opportunity for these drivers to show for other sim racing competitions. Hey, come and I'm willing to come and drive for you. That kind of this is a shop window for them to show their skills. At the same time, I feel like the teams will be feeling the pressure that Yassi have got a 3-0 win, and so have Mercedes, AMG, Petronas, Esports. They've got that 4-0 win. Team Redline will feel that pressure. If they want to be up in the mix, they need to see this out.
Yeah, already the bar has been set, hasn't it? And it was then raised by Mercedes. Mercedes themselves did say, they sort of saw Fordzilla as an easy potential opponent for them. And yes, when they get to race them, that's going to be a bit more difficult. So for Redline, they've got a difficult contender straight away with Red Bull, and you can see they took a point away from them straight away. So it's going to be really, really interesting. I don't think Redline will be too happy with the start that they've had for their season at the moment, because they're used to knocking it out of the park straight away.
Yeah, we're seeing the drivers getting ready. Almost just over 30 seconds left for the first race. Would you say Kevin Siggy, so far, after 3 races, if he does exactly what he's done just before, could be one of the drivers of the day, George?
He's a contender and a former champion. He's got the credentials, the ability, the speed. I wouldn't want to write him off.
One of your top drivers of the day so far?
Siggy, for sure, definitely.
OK, are there any other drivers? Because at the end of the day, Nick, I'm going to ask you.
Yeah, you will. You will.
OK.
Abono Huis is definitely one I would like someone up there. Yeah, he did a really good job today. I was very impressed with him, especially with his teammate, Jarno Wotmir.
OK, well, George, over to you for the last race of the day.
Thank you, Tom. Here we go, folks, for the final time tonight.
They put pedal to the metal, and it is go, 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 go. And certainly from the front, you can see Kevin Siggy and Enzo Benito currently holding on to top orders here at the very start of this race at Monza. They go 2 by 2. Oh, up and end in the back there, certainly for Kevin Siggy. Got a little nudge in the rear heading through the first corner, heading into the Rettifilio chicane. But still now, as they make their way through the next right, Michael Schmiedel there trying to make a move on Liam Parnell around the Curva Grande as they now make their way down through towards the Rogier chicane. Still side by side, but Michael Schmiedel, and it's a battle for second place. Enzo Benito usurped there by Yuri Kasdorp up into second spot. In comes Schmiedel now looking for a top 3 position, but still it's Siggy on top, Kasdorp in second, Schmiedel in third place. Nick Hamilton.
Yeah, there's a lot of cutting of the chicanes in that first lap, so I think stewards have got their hands full. This is Joni Tormler getting it on the grass, unfortunately, getting a little bit of a tank slapper and sending it into Siggy. Luckily, there wasn't a wall, and Siggy was able to continue. But yeah, the race stewards definitely going to have their hands full after that one. At the moment, it looks like Schmiedel in P3, doing a good job. He's not necessarily going to be happy with that. Kasdorf doing a good job at basically picking up the pieces there, running in P2.
Yeah. Kevin Siggy, the Slovenian sensation, currently leading the way as he now makes his way now on lap 2 down towards the first chicane. That, of course, being the Rettifilio, and there's more action in behind as well because Joni Tormler also fancies a dig here at Enzo Benito. And, of course, these two would have met on many an occasion in the past. But now Joni Tormler at the Curva Grande. He does move up into 4th place. Enzo Benito now down into 5th. So a great move indeed for Red Bull Racing Esports. And he would be absolutely delighted to get that move accomplished and done here at Monza. Of course, he's got Michael Schmiedel ahead of him, and that's another move he'll need, certainly to place 2 Red Bull drivers in the top 3, Nick Hamilton.
Yeah, this is where we're going to see the pace of Joni Tormler. He's been really, really strong. Obviously, he's had a few mistakes this evening, which, you know, he wasn't able to really show his true pace, but now he's going to be hunting down Michael Schmiedel. Only 8/10 is the gap, and obviously in this team race you need as many points as possible. Liam Parnell is actually getting closer and closer to Enzo Benito, and 8/10 between Tormler and Schmiedel. Schmiedel now into P2. I completely missed that. Oh my God!
Big contact.
There's a contact and a bit of issue there.
And look, Joni Tormler has taken advantage and moved into second place, but for how long? Because Michael Schmiedel is going to be looking to take it back. I can imagine that for sure. Kevin Siggy setting the fastest lap of the race so far. In comes now Michael Schmiedel, looking to the outside line, defending to the inside. Joni Tormler, the furiously fast Finn, looking to try and hold on as Yuri Kasdorp looks to come and try and help his teammate in behind as well. As you can now see them round the Curva Grande yet again, here in lap 3 of 6. Still Tormler holding on to second. Once again, Michael Schmiedel looking to utilise the slipstream, looks to the outside line, heading into the Rogier chicane, but once again, expertise here in defending from Joni Tormler, the Finn driver. He is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, what a great job. And this is the replay. This is Schmiedel going into the slipstream, down the outside, and Kasdorf going on the inside and actually touching Schmiedel. They both go off the circuit, and Joni says, thank you very much. I don't need another invitation, and into P2.
Yeah, brilliant indeed. Joni Tormler, second place. Michael Schmiedel in third. Oh, dearie me, cutting the Ascari chicane. I did say before we got into this one, the Ascari chicane is one treacherous place to be in Enzo Benito. It's all starting to turn ever so slightly sour for him right now. He is now moving right to the back of the pack with Liam Parnell ahead of him and Yuri Kasdorp. So things not going to plan for Enzo Benito like he would have hoped for at the very start of this event here tonight, but certainly still his teammate Kevin Siggy leads the way. Tormler starting to keep hold of that second place, starting to establish himself in second, with now Michael Schmiedel looking to pepper the rear wing of that Red Bull.
This has now made Yuri Kasdorp's position in P4 vital. He needs to really, really work towards Michael Schmiedel, because if he does and takes away that position from him, then Red Bull are going to be in a really, really strong place to try and take away another point out of this team race.
Yeah, 2 laps to go, and still Kevin Siggy leads the way. Joni Tormler 2.5 seconds back. Now that is a time difference that Tormler would not want to see.
Michael Schmidl is still in his rear as well. I bet when he looks through both mirrors, he can see that Team Redline car looming large in behind as well. Yuri Kasdorp in 4th place, who we're currently watching on our screens. We just saw him picture there, Joni Tormler and Michael Schmidl heading through Ascari. And very soon they'll be commencing lap 5 of 6, heading out of the Parabolica bend. Liam Parnell still in 5th, but he's being closely followed by Enzo Benito, who is certainly working hard to try and get himself back into the fight as well. They head around this next right-hander at turn 11, and still Siggy in 1st place. Yet another purple lap indeed, a 1:19. He's broken into the 1:19s, a 19.981. He is absolutely flying. Joni Tormler in 2nd place. That gap is now launched out to 2.7 seconds, with now Michael Schmidl well over 6.5 tenths behind him too. I tell you what, it's looking like the Siggy show here at the moment, Nick.
Siggy getting jiggy up in P1. I'm going to take that one. I'm going to take that one
you
off
can have it. I'll donate it.
But wow, yeah, what pace he has. He's pretty much head and shoulders above the field at the moment. Joni Tormler has done a fantastic job in this race, picking up the pieces, running in P2. Michael Schmidl doing just as well in P3. He's a perfectionist, is Michael Schmidl. He'd have liked to have done a little bit better at the start of the race. Enzo Benito as well has made a few mistakes in this race, as now he gets a better exit than Liam Parnell. Liam Parnell's going to have to go defensive, surely, into the Ascari chicane. We're going to go down the outside. Yes, we are, but slams the door firmly shut, and now it's all about the exit and the slipstream. Parnell's going to try and duck and weave. Oh, we've got a slow car there. That's Yuri Kasdorf.
Yeah, Yuri Kasdorp now to the back, and here comes Enzo Benito on Liam Parnell round the Parabolica right-hander, and certainly Enzo Benito full send round the outside. A sensational move here at this point in the race. Yuri Kasdorp down in 6th with his teammate Liam Parnell ahead of him. This has gone tremendously sour for Red Bull. They've only got one car up in the top 3.
Yeah, that's incredible how it's all of a sudden just changed from one lap to the next. Red Bull were looking super strong with the changes and the mistakes from Team Redline, but all of a sudden Enzo Benito has picked up the pieces from his mistakes at the start of the race, and Kevin Siggy doing a fantastic job out in P1. 3.6 seconds ahead. It's the final lap, and Team Redline looking like they've got this one covered.
Yeah, looming large here at Monza. Certainly this track opening up back in 1922. And well over 118,000 people come and watch the racing here at Monza. Of course, the Temple of Speed, as I alluded to, and we've seen once again an action-packed, an instant classic here in the V10R League. And Kevin Siggy now coming through with Tormler in behind, 3.5 seconds to boot between those. Michael Schmidl also making his way through as well, but no question, certainly he did it earlier on when we went to Silverstone. But coming here to Monza, it's the Slovenian sensation. That's what we've been calling him. We're getting jiggy with Siggy here at Monza as well, and he wins here at Monza as well. The Italian Grand Prix circuit, an absolutely tremendous result for Team Redline. They'll love that one.
What a race it was then in Monza. The catchphrase has already started for Kevin Siggy. Not for everyone, and not everyone's cup of tea, but I thoroughly enjoyed that race. And as the guys over by the desk pointed out, it all went a little bit sour for Red Bull Esports team there. Enzo Benito, Michael Schmidl and Kevin Siggy should be very happy with their efforts. Adjudication hasn't happened yet, but provisional, we will say a 3-1 victory. But here are the highlights from that race. I mean, I said to Nick, I said, can you plan for a race? He said, no, of course you can't. You have to use instinct, and it all kicked in immediately. It was very chaotic, I have to say, but it really tested the resolve of all of the drivers there, Nick.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure Joni Tormler said, you know what, I'm going to dip a wheel on the grass, get it sideways and run into Kevin Siggy. That was his plan.
Yeah.
No, it definitely wasn't. And it's a shame. It's a shame because Red Bull were looking very strong, like they were going to potentially grab a point out of that if everything went well. But yeah, this is how it can chop and change so quickly. Kevin Siggy taking the win, a very dominant performance there.
Yeah, but you said in Season 2 of the V10R League, he was incredibly dominant. We didn't get to see that firsthand. We obviously watched it on all of the highlights, which everyone else can do in your own time. But Kevin Siggy, the driver of the day for me personally, just really standing out and delivering for his team.
Yeah, dominant display, and again showed his experience as well. Wonderful efforts, and certainly led from start to finish, and did exactly what Team Redline have been expecting of him as well. And I tell you what, if they can keep this momentum, then it should be an exciting championship for them.
We did talk about it, Nick, though. Team Redline, we did sort of predict off air that they were going to be hard to beat today, and they did deliver, although there was a moment Red Bull got back into it, so that should give them hope going into next week. Yeah,
it shows that they're beatable as well, aren't they, Team Redline? And you could get a potential point if need be. But look, there's been 3 fantastic drivers, I would say, today, and that's got to be Bono Huis, James Baldwin, and Kevin Siggy. We've seen such fantastic driving from all 3 of them, and I can't wait to actually see all of them racing together. It'd be absolutely amazing.
Oh, that will be a juicy contest. But what is it mainly about Bono Huis for that Mercedes? A debut drive for him. He's well versed in lots of other sim racing competitions. But what did he do specifically today that made him really stand out for you?
Well, obviously his teammate is Jarno Opmeer, and everybody hails Jarno Opmeer as being this amazing driver, which he is. He's got such an amazing CV. But Bono, he just seemed to have the pace in every circuit that they raced on, every format, every race that they were competing in, and he did it in a real dominant fashion. So I thought that was really impressive by him.
Yeah, we're watching him take on Peeve of Team Fordzilla, and he just, even when Peeve had the opportunity to get back in to the race for Team Fordzilla, just Bono Huis just showed that composure that's needed. You need to be fast, but you also need to keep that mental aspect out there when you're racing.
Yeah, you do. It's just as important to bring the car home as it is to make the moves. And if you want to get the big points, you need to cross that checkered flag to start-finish line. And that's exactly what Mercedes did today. And no surprise as to why Nick selected Bono Huis as his driver of the day. I can fully get on board with that.
You can get on board with that, but would there be another driver that you'd throw out there, George? Go on, I want you to. Come on, it's your debut as well.
I gave all 3. I gave 3.
I'll give you that. I mean, I will be honest. Kevin Siggy was tremendous. I would agree. But yeah, there's plenty of others. Obviously, I mean, you've got to give credit to, like you say, Jarno Opmeer, who's once again here in a brand new championship, different format as he alluded to. It's not the same as your everyday championship when you've got 20 odd cars that you're up against. You're against 5 other cars, including your teammates.
Yeah.
And you're fighting in a proper team atmosphere. So it's a very different circumstance when you're racing in the V10R League, which is fascinating to see. Even the best of them. Yeah, people also want to see the results, so let's confirm those now for everybody at home, or you might not be at home, you might be out and about, wherever you are. I'm trying to say, let's have a look at the results. So Siggy in first place there, followed by Schmidl, and then you have Jarni Tormala, who had at one point, it was back in 6th, so he did very well for his team Red Bull. Benito in 4th, Parnell in 5th, and Kasdorp in 6th. An endurance racer, I believe you said earlier on, George, with Kasdorp, so learning for those moments in the team race and learning more skills. So there you have it. It's a 3-1 win to Team Redline against Team Red Bull. And that will look very good for the Group B standings, as if by magic we can see it right now. There you have it. Mercedes AMG Petronas Esports at the top with 4 points. Team Redline just behind with 3 points, and Oracle Red Bull Racing with 1. So it is important to just get those match points on the board as you can. In Group A, Yassi sitting firmly at the top. I see some people thinking, hang on, what's happened to Williams Esports and the Suzuki team? Don't worry, because of technical faults, they couldn't race today, but they will be doing that, and we will be bringing you the results as soon as possible. So, Nick, R8G, we just saw them there. They did impress you today, even though they didn't get a match point. They did manage to get that draw, didn't they, in the last team race? Yeah, they did. I mean, they were up against a real tough team, and they've been here now, what, for their second year, and I think they look the strongest they've ever looked in terms of their roster. I feel like they deserved at least a point from today, but that's how it goes. They didn't get a point, but they can at least hold their heads high and come out stronger for the next one. So yeah, there's a lot for them to take away. Obviously, with Yas Heat and James Baldwin, they had some real tough competition, and they did their best. Look at this move from Jajowski round the outside at turn 1 in Mugello.
It shows they've got the race pace and also the racecraft to go with it.
Yeah, the Macedonian Erman Jajowski and Marcel Cincic, the Hungarian, doing very well with those overtakes at Mugello, and that was a fantastic track that we witnessed. I'll tell you what though, so round one, I hear you cry, is done and dusted. Indeed it is. We are going to be back here next week with 4 more matchups, kicking things off around 2. It is BMW Motorsport Sim Racing and Jean Alesi Team Suzuki. That will be live from 1 p.m. I'm going to say a big thank you to Nick Hamilton. A great start to season 3. Have I done all right being the host today, Nick? Because you are the oracle.
You did it really well. Thank you so much.
I don't know why we're bowing at each other. Great stuff. George, great to have you on board. Enjoyed today?
Oh, I loved it. It was brilliant, and great to be working with you two gentlemen as well. Looking forward to next time, obviously.
Oh, beautiful. Well, listen, let's do it then. Guys, thank you so much for joining us as well, for taking the time to come and watch us. Make sure you get up to speed with all of the socials, and we will see you back here very soon for more V10 R League. Goodbye for now.